I will tell you this. The information and the evidence that was uncovered by the GOP investigation on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and his family, there was more evidence than there was in any one of my racketeering indictments. Joe Biden is treasonous.
Listen to me. No, I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, he's treasonous.
He's not treasonous.
Yes, he is. He sold out his vice presidency.
Bill Maher tries to act like he's the most unbiased individual ever, but whenever it comes to Trump, he loses his crap. It's so funny. He's talking to a former mafia boss, Michael Franzese, I believe is his name, and it's so funny watching him just completely go ape. Whenever Trump's name is mentioned, whenever someone supports him, and then when someone brings out the evidence on the other side, he's like, oh, well, you know, yeah. Anyways, but before we get into that, I want to remind you guys, subscribe to RTM News because it ensures to YouTube that you're enjoying our videos, and then that way they will continually show up in your feed and it'll push it out to more people. I'm Titus. Let's get into this video.
You gotta understand, I had investigations from the time I was 20 years old. I had a 14 agency task force on me for years. And kept getting these indictments. I went to trial 5 times. I beat every case.
But aren't these investigations of you for good reason? Because you were breaking the law?
Here's the thing. Here's what they're talking about. And this is what Bondi recently said. You know, we're no longer going to use the Department of Justice to target an individual and find out what crime he's committing. That's what they said. That's what's been going on in lawfare for the past couple of years. But I can almost understand it. You know, mafia, organized crime, because we were allegedly criminals at that time. So, hey, let me see what this guy is doing. We know he's doing something. We don't know quite what, but we'll figure it out. We'll investigate him. Because it's backwards. In our life, you didn't have a crime and then they go investigate it. They were investigating you to see what crime you might commit.
But the mafia was committing crimes. You deny that?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying
extortion, loan sharking.
I'm saying you could almost say that's okay. All right, we know these guys are criminals. We don't know exactly what they're doing. We hear it. We have to find out. This is a criminal organization, so we'll target individuals and go after them. I would say kind of okay.
It was a fishing expedition where there were a lot of fish.
Correct. That's a good way to put it. Okay. But do you do that? Do you do that to legitimate people that are not involved with organized crime?
But you were involved.
No.
Brother, are you not listening, Bill? Are you not listening? He's saying if you're a legitimate person who's not involved in anything, there's no sketchiness going around you, should you go target those people? That's what he's saying, because I'm sure he's getting there. That's what happened to Trump. And you shouldn't be allowed to just use lawfare against people that you don't like. Let's look into his life to see if we can find anything criminal. Not that I see anything criminal happening. Let's just go check because we don't like the guy. That's what he's saying. And you keep it, well, what? Listen, bro, are you too high? Do you smoke that too big of a puff or something? I don't even know what's going on here. That's crazy.
No, but I'm saying, I'm okaying that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but do you do that to legitimate people that are not involved in organized crime because you don't like them, because they disagree with you, they don't have the same agenda?
No, that is wrong, and there is some of that does go on. Absolutely.
Would you agree that a lot of it went on with Trump?
With Trump? Oh, what? You're obsessed with Trump?
I'm not obsessed with him, but I just want to have this discussion.
Oh, you're talking about lawfare. Well, yeah. I mean, it's a tough question that he put the country in, because as president...
The answer is yes, Bill, but go on.
You don't want to go where so many other countries have gone, where the guy loses an election and now they prosecute him. Because
they prosecuted him while he was president also with 2 impeachments.
Yes, because he does commit crimes. See, this is the little fly in your ointment, like not conceding the election, trying to get fake electors to show up when he knew, and every court told him, you can't do that. That went to court over 60 times, laughed out of every court, pressuring the Justice Department.
Going to court and getting laughed out of every court is not illegal. It's not a crime. Not conceding an election is not a crime. The fake electors thing, I don't know if that's true or not. So I don't even know I don't know what about that part. So maybe that's true. But the other things that he's mentioning are not crimes. It's just things that he did. Like, I'm confused. Like, you can't just use those as an argument, like, to negate what he's saying about him not being a criminal and then saying that he is a criminal because of things that aren't criminal. That's weird.
Calling up the guy in Georgia, who was a Republican, the vote counter there, and saying to him, I need you to find 11,000 votes. It can't be more blatant than that, that these are crimes. I would also say
Yeah, if he told someone to find votes for him that weren't there, then that's a crime, or that's wrong. I would assume that's a crime, but I don't know if he did that or not either. So I'll take his word for it for the sake of this conversation.
The Russia thing, even what he just said out loud, Russia, if you're listening, I wish you could help me with my campaign. We never did that before, Michael. You see, we ran our own campaigns. We didn't bring in ringers from the outside. It's part of the original documents that the founding fathers wrote. We don't want any help from outside because we're going to handle this ourselves. Maybe the Republicans and the Democrats fight each other to the tooth and nail, but don't bring in somebody from the outside. He broke that. He broke so many laws.
You barely named anything that he could have broken, and a lot of it's alleged. And then also, when it comes to Russia being involved, that hoax thing got debunked by the FBI. They did an investigation. There's the Russia hoax, all that stuff, propagated a lot by Hillary, not knowing it not to be true. So what is he talking about? Unless there's another Russia thing that they're just trying to connect him to. I don't get this, man. I don't get why we're still propagating or regurgitating this stuff. It's like when Obama was talking about the good people on both sides thing that's been debunked for years. The good people on both sides. He was not talking about neo-Nazis and white supremacists, but you guys wanted to keep propagating that lie over and over again. This is what you're doing with this bill. The Russia hoax thing has been completely debunked for years now.
Not to mention norms. So the idea that, well, it's just lawfare going after him. It's not lawfare if the guy actually did commit crimes. And again, you have to weigh that against what's the better tact, because you don't want to become that country where as soon as somebody leaves office, they prosecute them. What the president gets to do should have broad protection. That's true, because when you're president, you do have to make difficult decisions, like we may have to bomb you.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Even if you did commit some crimes, but you're getting accused of crimes that are not related to the crimes that you may have committed, that's still not right. And I'm not saying that he did do those crimes, but like when he's getting attacked for being a rapist or sexually assaulting people with no evidence at all whatsoever, when that's being used against him, on top of many other things that's coming against him, that is lawfare. Like, we're going to get him for this because we can't get him for what we want to get him for, what we think he may have potentially done. Like, that, no. So you're saying anything is justifiable because of something that may have potentially happened that's not related to what he's being accused for. If I'm wrong on that's what he's saying, please correct me in the comments, because I'm very confused by that.
And so you can't, you know what? Okay, you can't just be called a war criminal for everybody you bomb. Sorry, that's just the way of the world. But he took it to a different level. So yes, I don't think it was all just lawfare.
Bill, these crimes that they allege, these are all nonsense.
They're not all nonsense. I just listed why they weren't.
No, let me. No,
you don't care. You just like him. I like who you like.
I don't
you don't
like
listen
him.
to the logic about it or the facts. You just like him. It's okay.
I'll give
You're
you
entitled.
Let me give you logic.
Shit me, man.
Let me give you logic and facts. Okay.
Yeah,
I told you I had 3 racketeering indictments. 3. Okay. I know the statute inside out and upside down.
We're back to you now.
No. I'm coming to a point. I will tell you this. The information and the evidence that was uncovered by the GOP investigation on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and his family, there was more evidence than there was in any one of my racketeering indictments. Joe Biden is treasonous.
Yeah, listen to me. No, I agree. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay, he's treasonous.
He's not treasonous.
Yes, he is. He sold out his vice presidency. That's treason for money.
You just don't like him, so that's treason.
Bill,
but your guy.
Bill, no. Let me tell you. You know why I don't like him? I don't like him because he's a liar. Now, let me finish my point.
I didn't say anything.
He's saying that because you kept interrupting him every 5 seconds, and then he's like, he felt it was coming on. That's why I can't. Bill. Even when he said, "Oh, we're talking about you now," he's clearly trying to create some sort of point and trying to give you evidence to explain what it is that you're clearly not getting. And then you go, "Oh, you're talking about you now." Oh, interrupting every second you can. He's not treasonous. This and this and this. So now he's saying something, and then he goes, "Let me finish, please," because you're not. You're having a problem with not interrupting every 5 seconds. And then I didn't say anything. Like, you didn't know what he meant. He's playing dumb, and it's really annoying.
Liar. He was never competent to be president. He lied he lied about everything. The guy lied about.
I'm not a huge fan.
He lied about the laptop. He lied about everything. He had 51. Him and his cohorts there got 51 intelligence agents to lie about the laptop after they knew that the FBI had authenticated it. Absolute liar.
Okay.
Okay. As far as that, let me tell you this.
Not a huge fan.
He had 18 shell companies that did nothing. There was no brick and mortar behind him. There was no employees. All they did was collect money. How do I know about that? I had 21 shell companies when I was defrauding the government out of tax on every gallon of gas. I know the whole system. He sold out his vice presidency. He sold it out. He's treasonous.
Yeah,
and he lies. The guy lies. He don't even know how to tell the truth. And he destroyed the country.
Treasonous. If we were at war and he was selling secrets to them, we weren't.
Well, how do we know what he did for the money? Bill, how do we know
I know what he did for the money. He got his ne'er-do-well crackhead son a job in an energy company when he knew nothing about energy.
Is that okay?
It's not okay, but you have no perspective on what is the bigger crime. You just like the guy you like.
No,
so
I don't.
everything he does, you see through rose-colored glasses.
Bill, you're wrong.
And this other guy,
no, you're wrong.
It's okay. It's
no,
what most of the country is like.
I would tell you.
Just don't ask me to respect it as critical thinking.
I like Donald Trump for the policies that he put into this country, and I think during his time as a president, I didn't know him before that. I met him one time. 30 years ago with Roy Cohn. For 5 minutes, he probably wouldn't have even remembered me. We had a little meeting. I had to meet with Roy Cohn. He happened to be there. That was it. I don't know him. I have nothing to do with him. Let me tell you something. I'm not know of anybody. I just like the job he did as president. I don't care about anything else. And listen, I have a podcast, and I tell my people straight out, if I see Donald Trump doing something wrong, I'm going to hold him to it.
I doubt it.
Bill, man, he has all these things to say about why he doesn't like Trump. Trump's so bad. And here's the thing: Bill will come against the wokeness. He does. He does a lot of the time, and I appreciate that. But then he just has this insane hatred towards Trump that he can't even help himself. And he says all these things are so bad. He completely. This guy Michael completely exposes Joe Biden for all the ridiculous, illegal, criminal, manipulative, lying, just stuff he's done throughout his whole career. And all he goes, I'm not a big fan of the guy. Okay, but you probably knew about all this, but you're not a big fan of the guy. That's all you can say. Telling Bill. But and I get it. It is hard to be objective when you are so aligned with one side. But you gotta try your best to be like, okay, this is right, this is right, this is wrong, regardless of what side we're on. And that's something that we all have to work on a daily basis as people, because we are all flawed and we all have our biases. And so you have to work our hardest to be objective. But Bill, you're completely just on Trump derangement syndrome like times 10, and it's absolutely insane. I think Michael did a good job of trying to bring some relevant points to the table to maybe wake Bill up to the reality that he's not as bad as he thinks, and that Joe Biden is worse than I don't like the guy. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down your thoughts below, and I can't wait to see you guys on the next one. Peace.